pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I guess I'd like to start out, this has always been a relatively in-depth and heartfelt consideration in trying to come up with a budget that will work with everybody to the best of our ability, and also work in the realm of the potential income and estimated income that the county is going to be receiving for the next year. The last thing that this council wants to put forward is a deficit budget. We want to put forward a balanced budget, I guess unequivocally. And, you know, we have Jackie Clements come in from AIC. She gives us some pretty good estimates on about what we'll be receiving for the next year. And, you know, obviously we don't want to go above those estimates at all. We're right up to the line. I mean, literally right up to the line of trying to keep a balanced budget and not going over into a deficit style budget. Today, I will, you know, whoever wishes to start, we will hear your concerns, complaints, or congratulations, whatever they may be. We will take those into consideration, not while you're at the podium, but we will write those down, the concerns, write those down, and address those at a little bit later after the meeting. So, if anyone wishes to start.
I have election stuff to do, so I will start. I just wanted a clarification on the perpetuation fund. I asked for $12,000 for clerical and nothing for imaging, because that's going to, the clerical person is going to be doing the imaging, so I was just wondering why you split those two out.
As far as imaging, we thought, and under Jackie's advisement, imaging can be taken out of the perpetuation fund. And it says we'll make a line item for imaging. Is that correct?
Yeah, and that's what she's looking at.
I'm assuming that I can still slip that $3,000 back up into that clerical line, because the person that I hire for that is going to be doing the imaging. I'm not gonna outsource that. And the reason we didn't do anything this year is because the scanner was down. That's why I did not hire anyone for that.
Currently, your imaging was taken out of a 4,000 line, which is not payroll. Well, it shouldn't be.
Are you talking clerk?
In the clerk's budget, when you currently ask for imaging and you have currently used imaging, that's.
On the clerk, yes.
But you have it down in capital outlay, you don't have it up in personal services. If you're going to hire someone to do that, it needs to be in the salary.
For the part-time clerical under clerk perpetuation, it is in there that they are scanning the documents. That is what they were doing.
I think they were confused about that, so
Oh,
what
okay.
about the imaging on your clerk, and what was that for? Was that for your scanners?
The purchasing of, we haven't purchased anything. That would have been what we paid someone to come in and scan.
So you're no longer
certain
doing
things.
that?
No, through the perpetuation fund, that's what I wanna hire someone in to do instead of outsourcing it, because that amount is,
Okay.
I'm not gonna get very much use. $3,000 is not gonna go very far to get my records.
I understand that part.
But 12,000 is gonna go a long distance if someone comes in and
What
doesn't.
about the clerk though? You had 3,000 in imaging and capital outlay.
Okay. I would have to look back and see what that, since we didn't use the perpetuation fund last year, I would have to look back at that. I was just curious why it was switched out. I
The
mean, it's
short
fine.
The short answer is yes, it can, or an additional can be done in the clerk's fund, in the clerk's perpetuation fund.
Okay, so I can,
You can do
I
transfers.
had
Okay.
written that you were going to get scanners, that's why they moved it to.
okay, and that's fine. We are, okay, that's what you're saying. Now
Yes.
okay, now I understand. Okay, so equipment, okay,
And then you
That's
could,
fine.
like you said, then do an additional to get it back up there, because
Okay.
we cannot
that's fine.
give you more than what is advertised.
Yeah, I was just
I'd say
curious.
we-
It's the same
they
amount of
can.
money. It's the same amount of money, that's why I was wondering why it was split out. The only concern I have is on the election, budget, you've taken the legal fees down to 2,000. As I cautioned, in my presentation, that's going to be problematic if we do it again. That's not even enough to hold my retainer, that's not even enough to hold the retainer of the attorney.
You
So-
don't know if you'll get sued again, though,
No, I don't.
We're hoping that you don't.
I'm hoping that too, but I just wanted.
And there's no way to budget that. I mean, 10,000,
Right.
it might be 200,000, it might be 2.
Correct.
Like, so, like, it's just something we're gonna have to work with, yeah.
Okay, that was, like I said, that's my only concern. On a positive, back on to the clerk, I would actually like to give you some money back. I would, seriously like for you to consider, not giving me the 8% or 7% raise, leaving mine at the 46,500, which is what I was paid this year. I am content with that level being there. I'm very thankful that you increased my staff's pay. That's more important. I would like to give $3,200 back to the county, take that line item, or take that raise out of my budget for this year. Again, that's your discretion, but I understand you want to give everyone a raise, and I'm thankful for that. But I'm also very content with the 46.5 that I'm currently getting paid. So if that would help ease the budget, please take that away. And keep my staff where they're at. That's a great increase for them, and they are very appreciative, but I am not asking for nor wanting a raise at this point.
So, I mean, one point of clarification on it, you did ask for a raise in
I
your
did ask for
budget.
3% across the board because I thought I had to. I thought I had to ask for a raise for myself. I've been told that the first year I put in a budget, that I can't ask my staff to get a raise if I'm not willing to take one as well. So that's why I did put in 3%. And then you gave 7. Again, keep it for my staff, I'm fine with that, but either reduce mine back to the 3% I requested for myself, or completely remove mine, and I would be fine with that.
I would foresee the only problem with doing that is that you may not want the raise, but the next elected official that runs for that position,
And we can,
they're going to be behind.
and I can address that, that can be addressed as it gets closer to the end of my term.
Well,
I mean,
I don't think so.
I
You
can ask
can't,
for-
because what's gonna happen is at the end of your term, if you choose not to run or say you do not win, that person could be 30% behind in raises. We, as a council, or me, is not gonna sit there and give a 30% raise to a new election just because you chose to bypass your wages. That's what I thought.
We can discuss it.
But it was a nice gesture.
yeah, fair enough.
I mean, I'm good again if you put it back to what I requested. And then there'd be less makeup if that's what you're looking at long term.
Okay,
Okay?
very good, thank you. Doug?
Good morning. First, I just want to thank you guys for what you do. I know it's not an easy job, and obviously one that I wouldn't want, so we do appreciate you guys. With that being said, I just want some clarification if I can, because I tried to figure it out and I'm not sure. I didn't come up with the same number. So on our paramedic shift supervisor line, which was the 1,016, I just came up with a different figure. I didn't figure each other step, so I'm not sure if I'm messed up or what. So.
They did not get 7%, is that the correct?
They were different because of the mid-year raise.
Okay. Do you know what the percentage was?
Well, it came to a 7% raise.
They were at 18.55, you gave them a dollar raise. The difference between 19.55 and the 7% brings them to 19.84 an hour.
Okay, so that's how you figured it out?
Yeah.
Okay, cause I couldn't figure it out, I'm like, look, I don't understand how you came to that. So
And
that makes
just a
sense.
point of clarification, like for future budgets, it would be really helpful for us if you showed your math on how the overtime calculates into their
Sure.
kind of
Yep.
base pay.
I have a whole spreadsheet on that.
That would be
so-
really helpful, because when we're calculating, well, we just don't wanna make a mistake.
Okay.
And so, like, you're doing it every pay cycle, and it's second nature, but it's just, it's totally unique to the whole,
Sure.
county, so that's help, yeah, thank you.
The only other thing I would like to bring up is I guess I would just ask you guys to reconsider a little bit on our part-time EMT and our part-time paramedic pay. I really would like to get those, right now the part-time staff makes right at or less than the full-timers do per hour. So I would like to at least get that above where they're making a little bit more than the full-timers, since they're not getting, holiday pay, they're not getting benefits. So what I would like to ask of you is if we could at least take the part-time pay EMTs up to $15 an hour, and,
Thought we did that, I think we did that.
I think it went to 14 is what I figured, but maybe I think.
11 to 15.
Yeah, we gave a range, 11 to 15. But
And then we put a 7% increase in the line.
Okay.
So it wasn't guaranteeing that you went all of them to 15 at full hours. It was just, we gave you the range
Okay.
and 7% additional in the line, and then you can kind of use that how you want to use it.
Okay, and how does that work with the medics, because they're above that?
Similar, it was the same, it was the requested pay range. We just put 7% of the budget.
That you,
Right.
okay, so okay, I see what you're saying.
So you can pay 113, 115,
Okay.
what to, you're just,
Yeah.
Okay.
You're,
I was just figuring on the total overall, if I put everybody at that, so that's what I was looking at. So there is a range,
yes,
There's
and then you have to stay within your line item.
and then you know was it the range that I
The
requested?
requested like,
Oh,
right.
okay.
11 to 15.
Yeah, we did 11 to 15. It's-
For all parts.
Even paramedics?
No, not the
Okay,
paramedics.
so what was the paramedic range?
I thought it was your request, I mean, we talked about it, but we haven't done the salary ordinance, we won't finish the salary ordinance until the end of the year, but from my recollection, it was as
He's
requested.
talking about the part-time paramedics.
Part-time paramedic.
I thought they were all 11 to 15.
No, not the paramedics, they're more.
I don't think so, I don't have that.
They are now,
I had 18
yeah,
Because they're at 18 right now, that's where they're at right now. And I had requested the range of 22 to 25.
I think we'll have to take that.
Okay.
But your budget, your request was 11, or was 16 to 18? Is that correct on?
Well, that was the initial one, the one I updated you guys on was that day that I come in, I
Yeah.
changed those, that was the 22 to 25. So it was this paper that the other day, and my budget hearing.
But that's what's on here. 16, 18, 22 to 25.
Oh, yes, sorry. Yep.
So just to clarify, EMTs is in the range 11 to 15, and then we'll have to visit the paramedic, because nobody remembers saying that. Nobody remembers this discussion of 22 to 25.
Yeah, I mean, they're already above 11 to 15. The paramedics. Yeah, the
Yeah.
paramedics.
That's what we all have, it's just at the 18, so we'll have to discuss it.
Yeah,
So the range was 22 to 25?
22 to 25 for paramedic.
that was the budget, or that was the request.
Yep. Okay. That's all I have.
We didn't put it, I mean, we just put 7% on
Yeah, we gave it a 7% raise compared to the 22 budget. That we didn't get over, right?
Yeah, so it's that, figured out.
So I just came with a question. So I just was curious, so everyone got a 7% range in salary
That
increase?
is incorrect.
Well, it's pretty,
Pretty close? Okay, that's,
Your department.
yeah, I saw my department did. I was just curious if that was the general consensus from the budget hearing.
pretty,
Some
And then-
did, some did not.
Either way, thanks.
But some did, some did not.
15, I want you to know.
Pardon?
And part-time's 11 to 15.
11, 15. Okay, but you'll tell me that again when you send me the salary order, so awesome. Thank you very much. Appreciate all you do.
thank you.
Have a good day.
Don't be scared, step right up.
Good morning.
Morning.
Mine was just a question also. I just wanted to clarify, I know you increased my deputy line, and I wasn't sure if that was an increase in the per hour rate that I asked for, or how that was gonna.
Page
7.
We did not increase the drum call, it is still at $60. And we had a question that, when you have a call, you call the people to come, and those are who gets paid, but the other ones who come on their own do
Oh,
not get paid.
There isn't anybody that really comes on their own. It's by me calling them and saying, I need some help.
Okay.
So, and then they did not get any raises last year, or obviously this year either, so they put in a lot of time for me, so I would appreciate maybe reconsidering. Calls take a lot of time.
Do you have a number? It doesn't. We had a rate and a number of runs. I can do math. 30, it pays for 33 runs. And it,
Is that the same thing?
is that your
It's the
email?
Yes, pretty much. Well, I just showed him the quotes that I had for my, software contracts, the amounts.
Just so I'm on the right page, do you have any questions on your assessor budget, or is it just on reassessment?
No, it's just on the reassessment.
Ready?
Thank you. I don't know how you're so fast.
It's on top, right, 1188. I had requested,
What, so my first question, I mean, one of your questions was about postage.
Yes,
Okay, so, your postage was unused in 2021,
that's because I haven't purchased it yet.
in 2021,
Oh, in 2021.
and then was unused in 21, let me start by saying, I like your thought process on the
For us,
outsourcing.
Yes,
Okay, but
Okay.
like, we couldn't verify at all the validity of the numbers. And that was our hesitancy about approving the budget request.
okay,
So, like, so the 21 actual is 0 and the 22, year-to-date is 0. So, and you're saying that postage costs $12,000.
because I'm getting ready to buy my postage. But what I've done in the past is each year, and I showed you on that sheet that I gave you, I have been buying forever stamps, and so if I have extra, then I don't buy as many. So I've been lowering my budget requests, as you can see from that paper, each year, because I've been able to get by with some of what I've carried over from the year before.
If you go back through her years and look at that, that's where
It
the
is.
12,000 is.
Yes, that's where the money is.
Each year, she listed it on that sheet, I went down and
Yeah.
had her explain it to me.
It
Each year
shows
on
right
that
there,
I'm looking for which sheet are we talking
it's
about?
this one that you just had, this one. It shows you that each year, this is what started out in 18. So I was able to save, so it went to 8,000 to 8,000 to 6 to 5. So I've been lowering my postage budget
Yeah, and
each
that's
year,
what I
but at
don't,
some point, I'm going to, I'm gonna catch up, and so I'm gonna be back up to the 12,000 or whatever it is.
well, and this is what I don't understand. So if you just assume that it's, just assume a flat figure, that it's 12,000, okay?
Okay,
If you carry 12,000 over 5 years, that's 60,000. But your actual spend has been like in the neighborhood of half of that. So I still don't see where, like, even if you're carrying over,
but I'm still,
Stan-
I'm saving you how much money?
but I'm not sure.
By not spending the 60,000 or the
This,
12,000 every year. I've
yeah,
been
that's what I'm saying,
saving
but yeah, I agree with you. But what I'm saying is, but then using 12,000 as the comparison figure
Because
doesn't meet actual.
well, but that's what it's going to be at some point, because I'm catching up to, I don't have as much postage carrying over. So, say this year I send out the Form 11s and I use all the postage that I have. Next year, I'm gonna come back to you and I'm going to need the full 12,000 to pay for all of it.
Yeah, that's what I can't, like, you haven't used 12,000 ever. Like, even if you added up your budget request, what you actually spent, plus, I mean, there would have to be tens of thousands of dollars of stamps somewhere. Like, that's what I don't understand. Like, I can't see where 12,000 was actually spent on postage. That's what I'm trying to get my head wrapped around.
Okay. Well,
I mean,
Envelopes with stamps and goods, or do you just get the stamps?
No, we bought, like I said, we bought the forever stamps. We tried buying the stamps through the post office one year, but the envelopes they weren't as good. So,
So does it cost you $12,000 to do like that mailing?
it will, I mean, if I were to go and buy stamps, it would cost me roughly that to pay for all the postage. I mean, for 21,000 parcels. We try to lump them together and try to save as much as we can, cause you can only put like 5 sheets of paper in one envelope for one stamp. So we try to sort through and do that, but, I don't know
Cause what
about
he's saying
tens
is
of thousands.
he's never seen you spend $12,000 in postage.
Well, I've never requested 12,000 of postage either. So, I don't know. I just know that I have carried stamps over each year and have been able to purchase what I've requested
so,
other than the 1 year.
but this is the numbers, okay? If this is how many you actually spend on an annual, or send, 21,174 on an annualized basis, at 60 cents, and I'm just calling it 12,000 instead of 12,700, it'd be 60,000. The total budget request over the last 5 years is 37,000. So there's no way that you're carrying over enough stamps to do 21,000 parcels. So, that's where there's gotta be,
Well,
there's
like I
gotta be
s-
something.
You don't mail every year though, like that.
Yes,
You
no,
do.
we're required to mail every year. Yes. That have to be out by May 1st.
And those are for Form 11s?
Form 11s, notice of assessments. Okay, well, I requested 5,900 and you cut it back to 5,000. So I wasn't sure why you did that. And then the other thing that I gave to Scott was you cut my, software back to what I asked for last year. And I need at least 24,366 just to cover my contracts. Cause there was a 5% increase. And I gave him the quotes. And Josh, I guess, you know, you're my rep. Why couldn't you have come down and discussed this with me the other day like I asked you to? So we wouldn't have had to do this in this meeting. I sent you a
Do you have my
text.
number?
I
No.
sent you a text and I asked Beth to ask you. You haven't
Oh,
contacted
when
me
we were
one
here?
time as my rep.
Okay.
So I'm just telling them that it would have been nice if you and I could have sat down and discussed this without it being in a public meeting. So,
We
You can do
did,
it.
we
Pardon?
did talk about, under reassessment for the new computer software, computers and printer updates. We would like, and as we were going through some of this stuff, we would like to group that all together, or some of the other things in other departments in together and utilize some of the ARPA funds for those. So some of the things that we did pull off your budget, we didn't cut it, we just wanna utilize potentially ARPA in getting some of those things done.
But you're saying this is an annual
this is
contracted
a-
amount
This is
that
an
has to be
annual
paid.
contracted amount that I need to do my,
And that's the maintenance.
yes. So with Augmentin, it's 18,466. AS2 is 5775. And then we have to get the NATA guide from JD Power for our mobile homes. And that's 125.
Okay. And that's 24,366
Yep.
total.
So that's what I would like for you to give me. Okay?
Hang on a minute, I wanna ask you something.
Oh,
I think I do. That's under just so I understand. Is that number? Requested 26,641, and they gave you 23,594, is that what you're saying?
yes, that's what I'm saying, and
You need it.
I need 24,366 just to cover my maintenance. Okay? You can have
When
this.
we discuss it all.
Morning.
Morning.
Morning, Penny.
Everything is great with all of the accounts that I take care of, except for I had one question. My perpetuation fund. I asked for, at the time when we came in, part-time was $11 to $13 an hour, so I asked for the range to go up to pay the $13 an hour for the 40 hours per pay period that my part-timer works. So if I wanna give her a raise, I have a little bit more leeway, cause she makes $11 an hour now, or if she would happen to decide to retire, I could hire another part-timer in and maybe offer them a little bit more, because to hire a new person in at $11 an hour, I'm probably not gonna find anybody. And I don't understand, I asked for 13,520 in that line, and you gave me exactly what she gets this year, so that means she does not get any pay raise at all this year. And I'm not sure I understood why I wasn't
You
given
wanna take
that.
that? Oh, is your, you wanna take that one? No, I'll give it.
We raised the range on all part-time from 11 to 15.
So
But
is
you
my.
did not raise her line item.
We didn't raise
They didn't
anybody's,
raise it.
we didn't raise anybody's line item.
Right. So
So-
your choice is what they're saying is your choice is you can give her whatever you want an hour, you still have to stay, she might not be able to work 40 hours, or however many hours she works a week.
Okay.
I know, I.
Part-timers only work 25, that's.
Yeah, and she only works 20.
Yeah.
So she doesn't even work what most people work.
Right.
So I can't basically give her a raise if I want her to be able to work her 40 hours per pay period, is what you're telling me? Because you didn't give me anything. It's still 11,440, what it was this year. Nothing
This is what I
changed.
questioned when you were doing
What is
this,
she,
because when you didn't
Huh?
raise,
what is she?
$11
you
an
didn't
hour.
raise the line items on, and I'm like, that's like you're getting no raise.
You said that.
Yeah, so she's not gonna get a raise.
You are correct.
Explain to me why.
Josh, explain to her why.
This is out of a perpetuation fund that doesn't come out of the general fund that I pay with my collections through my recordings.
I get that. Across the board, we did that, same thing, on part-time labor. That's how, that was a cost controlling measure. We gave departments the ability to have a wider range. We didn't raise any of the lines,
Are you sure about that?
with the exception of one or two.
With the exception.
Of
So
EMS.
why did they get the exception and not the rest of us?
First responders were the exception.
But does it come out of the general fund?
Yes.
Mine doesn't come out of the
I,
general fund.
yes, I understand.
So, I don't understand. So, are you gonna be the ones that come to my counter to tell my part-timer she's not getting a raise this year?
What, you're in the same boat as everybody else.
So
In
are you
terms
gonna
of-
go around to every office and tell everybody's part-timers they're not getting raises this year? When we have 8.3% inflation, everything's gone up, and you expect those people to still work for what they make now?
Penny, I think what we'll do, we'll take this under advisement, I'm making notes.
I mean, mine, like I said, mine comes out of my perpetuation fund.
I understand.
It's not out of the general. I know that I have this money. You all know that I'm pretty frugal with my money. I don't overspend my money. I appreciate the rest of the raises that you gave me and my first deputy. I gave up part of my first deputy salary to pay out of this. And this is what I get in return?
Well, not everyone has a perpetuation fund.
I
So you're-
understand
you're
not
wanting
everybody
us to
has a
give-
perpetuation
You're wanting
fund.
us to give one part-time person, you're wanting us to give your part-time person something that other departments don't have.
Yeah, but my part-time person doesn't even work the full 25 hours that everybody else's part-time people work right now. So what I'm saying is, we came to an agreement that she works 20 hours a week, 40 hours a pay period, and she's good with that, I'm good with that. It helps us in lunch times when one of us, when I'm out of the office or Teresa's out of the office, we have somebody there in the office. My office isn't left vacant. And to date, from 2017, with her help, we've been able to backload over 35,000 documents that wouldn't be searchable by people outside of this building. And I have to go tell her now that I can't give her a raise.
The budget hasn't been adopted yet.
Yeah.
Okay, this is,
This is just the discussions that, you know, what we come up with, and then this is the feedback we get from you folks. Budget won't be adopted till October 20th, and of course, you know, salary, won't be until the end of the year.
Well, I would implore you all to sit down and seriously discuss the part-time line items and give those people a raise. And allow them to be able to work the hours they work now. To be able to pay for their cost of living and their families.
I just wanna make a comment that not all part-timers have permanent hours. So that's something that they need to discuss too.
Yeah.
You know, like in the treasurer's office, they are seasonal.
Right.
There's people that only work 20 hours and maybe the next week 15, it's just when they're needed. So I think that needs to be taken into consideration, and I think he's made those.
Because your part-time is unique to many other part-times.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, she does have set hours that she works. So I would appreciate it if you would look into that. And at least give me that 13,520 that I asked for, so I have that range, so I can give her a raise. And like I said, then if she leaves, for me to hire somebody to work those hours for $11 an hour, when she could go down to McDonald's and make $15 or $16 an hour.
You can pay them the range.
but I'm not gonna get the hours of work out of them, and I'm not gonna get what needs to be done in that office done. Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, I'll start out with overall, thank you for your time and efforts. However, obviously, in my position, I still have some real concerns from salary standpoint and being able to obtain and retain quality personnel. I guess time will tell regarding that at this stage. I would just ask for another reconsideration of the percentage amount in salary and hourly rates involving emergency service personnel. Obviously, from this point forward, I consider myself speaking for the next person to hold this position as sheriff. This being the 2023 budget, but there were a couple of line items in both the 005 sheriff budget and the 380 jail budget that I want to address or at least ask questions about. The first one is actually the sheriff's salary in 1,000, excuse me, .01. I guess right out of the gate, I'll ask how we arrived at the 97,568 when I had proposed the 60% amount of the prosecutor's salary is spelled out in Title 36.
Yeah, Title 36 reflects that, the calculus is 50% of the first half of the year, 50% of the second half of the year, because their salary rolls over mid-year. So your salary rolls over with their salary. So Nick, or the prosecutor, excuse me, makes a different amount in the first half of the year than he does the second half of the year. We aggregate those two numbers and use that 60% multiplier.
Okay. And that is based on the 60%?
Correct. And on your document there that you provided, so you can see the current is 159,950, the second half is 165,276.
Actually, it's the 165 now, because it's after
the first, right.
July 1, yeah.
Right, so, but then that salary will change July 1 of 23.
Right.
Right.
Alright. And on the,
Wait.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to address the radio equipment contract and point out, that's 3,000.01. Part of that payment on an annual basis is not until December from Raycom, and that has been averaging at roughly $5,065. And as of July 31st, as you can see, the remaining balance is $5,665.20. So the additional costs that come from that line also include payment of software that we utilize by way of Lieberman Technologies as it relates to tax warrants and other softwares in essence keeping the books at the sheriff's office. And so it's not strictly for radio equipment purposes, but also for software purposes from our office. So 15,000, it could very well be that the next sheriff's gonna have to come in and ask for additional, or at least maybe look into a transfer to cover these costs for 23.
What was the Raycom number again?
5,065.
Yeah, I think maybe you said that was the remaining balance, is that right?
The remaining, as I see it, at least here in front of me, is, as of July 31st, is 5665.
Okay. The remaining balance is 62,300. The next number over to the right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
$66.65 is
so-
what's been used.
Right, you're right. Okay, I was looking at the wrong column. Okay. Well, yeah, I understand where you were going with that
And
then.
then last year, total usage was 11,000.
Okay.
All the way over to the left.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, thank you for that
So,
point
yeah,
of clarification.
we thought that would suffice.
Okay. Again, way prices are anymore, who knows?
Exactly.
Yeah, so. And then the, only other, and this is in the 380 of the jail budget, and it relates to, 380 some correction, part-time jail staff and civil process, 10,000.
Page 25.
3,006, or excuse me, 1,006. Again, time will tell on the 10,000 that's allocated there at this point. I realize we've still have a pretty healthy balance left there for 22, but part of that obviously is that we don't have many part-time jail officers at this point. However, that's looking to change in the near future. We have more individuals that are signing on that come on board with it part-time. So again, it's speculation, I suppose, that whether or not that 10,000 will cover for 23 and maybe addressed by
So that's utilized for jail personnel?
part-time.
Okay.
Part-time and for our civil process service.
Okay, yeah, because we saw usage, 2021 was 2,500, and so far this year is 2,200.
Right. Yeah,
I guess,
so. Other than that, I do appreciate, obviously, I think we all know, particularly in the medical aspect and feeding inmates, is one way or the other, it's gotta be covered. So, I appreciate those numbers and, out of county inmate housing and, they know that there are a second county now involved in holding our inmates, so
Gas.
yeah.
they've got 350 plus beds up there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a huge increase.
And just wanted to say, with your legal deputy, you're
Yeah.
coming out of commissary and then motor vehicles, I know you always put that in your line item, those are just your
Huge gap, yeah. So,
And then you also had a request for laptops.
Mhm.
I think you're gonna, wanted to do like an upgrade ARPA plan for all of the 5 to 7-year-old.
okay.
We'd like to get a group or a list of what you need and group that with all the rest of it.
Well, thank you very much.
Thanks, Doug.
Thanks, Phil.
Thanks, Joe.
I'm gonna race it. I really don't have any questions, I just wanna show my appreciation. We work very hard to serve the landowners and the land users in this county for providing these services, so I know your job's not easy, and we do appreciate it, so thank you for your help in getting this. Have a good day.